Before we move on, let me show you how to use it. Don't be afraid, okay? I'm going to lay down and you will put it inside me through this place. When Michael's father remarried, the boy found himself living under the same roof as his older stepsister, Clara. Clara seemed sweet on the surface, often telling Michael stories and playing with him after school, but behind closed doors, Clara introduced Michael to a disturbing game she claimed was for older boys and girls. At first, it was strange but innocent to him as Clara manipulated his young mind. One day, when their parents were out of the house, Clara called Michael into her room and told him there is a game I want to introduce you to, a very interesting game you would love, but I want you to promise me that this game is going to be between you and me alone. He promised, nodding his head. She then pulled out a box and brought it out. She switched it on and used it to touch his jaw. She then said to him, "I know you will like it." He smiled. Before we move on, let me show you how to use it. Don't be afraid, okay? I'm going to lay down and you will put it inside me through this place. She showed him and handed him the strange toys, giggling as she told him, "Remember, they are special gadgets only for us to use in secret." Oblivious to what they truly were, Michael trusted her completely. The first time she guided him through it, confusion mixed with unease. But Clara's comforting tone made him believe it was harmless fun. As the weeks passed, the game became a routine. Michael, desperate for approval and craving the connection with Clara, complied every time. His young mind became clouded, unsure why this game left him feeling so odd yet strangely important to his stepsister. Meanwhile, Clara became more controlling, reinforcing that it was their secret and warning him that he is not to tell anyone else. Michael's nights were plagued with confusion, but the affection and trust he had for Clara anchored him to the routine. His innocence was being eroded by the one person he thought cared most. Michael's confusion deepened as the act continued. When she wasn't around, he'd stare at the toys, unsure if he should touch them alone. One day, while visiting their neighbor's house, Michael noticed their daughter, Elsie, playing with her dolls. Without thinking, Michael suggested they play the special game too. Elsie, unsure but trusting, reluctantly agreed as Michael pulled out the hidden toy he took from Clara's room. Before anything could happen, Elsie's mother entered and was horrified by what she saw. Elsie's mother snatched Michael away, trembling with fury. Shock and disgust rippled through the neighborhood. Within hours, both families were dragged into a whirlwind of accusations. Michael sat quietly, unable to explain as the adults demanded answers. When Elsie revealed what Michael had suggested and the toy he carried, all eyes turned to Michael's home. The shame that swept through the house was like a storm. Clara's mask of innocence cracked as whispers grew louder. For the first time, fear seeped into Clara's eyes as her own secret world began to unravel. Confronted by their parents and neighbors, Michael could barely speak. All he could do was mutter. Clara said it was a game. The room fell silent. Clara, standing in the corner, was pale and trembling. She tried to deny it, but Michael's sincerity and innocence were undeniable. Their stepmother broke down in tears, their father's face contorted in rage. Clara's protests were drowned by the mounting evidence and Michael's haunting words. The betrayal was too deep. Clara's secret had poisoned more than just her relationship with Michael. It had scarred their entire family. The news spread like wildfire through the neighborhood. Parents whispered behind closed doors, shielding their children from Michael and Clara. School officials got involved, and both families were forced into painful meetings with counselors and authorities. Michael felt like a ghost, shunned by his peers and pitied by adults. Yet, amidst the chaos, Clara sat in her room, staring blankly at the floor, unable to escape the shame consuming her. The community's judgment weighed heavily, and even her closest friends distanced themselves. Clara's world was crumbling, and the worst was yet to come. Michael's father, devastated and furious, could no longer bear the sight of Clara. In a heated argument with Clara's mother, he threatened to end the marriage. The household, once tense but manageable, spiraled into a toxic battleground. Meanwhile, Michael clung to his stepmother, who, despite her grief, shielded him from his father's wrath. Clara was forced to face the reality of what she had done, not just to Michael but to their entire family. Isolation replaced the once comfortable home, as every room echoed with blame and betrayal. One stormy night, Clara crept into Michael's room. Tearfully, she confessed everything. She admitted she knew what the toys were and that it was never a game. In her broken voice, Clara whispered that she was acting out from her own unspoken trauma, something she had hidden from everyone, even herself. Michael, though too young to fully grasp the depth of Clara's confession, felt a strange mix of sorrow and anger. For the first time, he realized how damaged his stepsister was. Yet, the wound between them felt too deep to heal. Therapists were brought in to help Michael and Clara, but the damage had already been etched into their souls. Michael struggled with nightmares and trust issues, while Clara faced mandatory counseling and community service. The family remained divided, but there were small, hesitant steps toward healing. Michael slowly began understanding that what Clara did was wrong, but she too was a victim in some ways. The counselors worked tirelessly, but the scars were undeniable. Still, Michael's stepmother remained a steady rock, helping him begin the long journey of piecing himself back together. Years later, Michael stood outside the same house, now an adult. Though time had dulled the sharp edges of the pain, the echoes of that dark chapter remained. Clara had moved far away, choosing to start fresh. Michael, on the other hand, had found purpose in helping children who went through similar traumas. As he turned to leave, Michael whispered a silent goodbye to the ghosts of his past. The game had broken them both, but from the ruins, Michael found the strength to rewrite his story. Yet, deep inside, the memory of Clara's betrayal would always linger. Thank you so much for watching this powerful and emotional story. This story is a reminder of how easily innocence can be shattered, and how deep family wounds can run, but also how healing is possible, even after the darkest storms. If this story touched you or made you think deeply about trust, family, or the importance of raising and protecting children, please don't leave without sharing your thoughts. Your voice matters, and your comment could help someone else who's quietly struggling. Do you believe Clara deserved forgiveness, or were her actions beyond redemption? I'd love to hear your honest take in the comments. And if you want more thought-provoking, emotional, and eye-opening stories like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join this growing community where we explore real-life lessons through storytelling. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and always protect the innocent. Love you all.